Hi guys. So I've been kind of dreading doing this video because this is a little bit difficult to talk about. And I just feel like if one person can relate to this, then it'll be worth it. So I'm a little bit of a planner. I like to plan things out. And I feel like for the big things in life, I've known a lot of things I wanted since I was probably like a teenager. And one of those is a family. So my goal, and like my husband and I, like we have been trying to like work towards our goal of like, getting a house and like getting things together. We have our jobs, and I was really trying to finish up my master's. And so, but one of my goals was by like 2020, I really wanted for us to have like a kid. Like that was like one of my goals that I was really hoping towards. So 2020 came around, and the first thing that happened was my master's got like kind of pushed out. So first of all, I know what they say of planners is that like you make plans and God laughs. And so like for my master's, it's pretty much like not plan A, plan B, plan C, but probably plan like G that I have made for like all the scheduling that I had. So it was like that far along of the plans I had, and just kept like getting mixed up and pushed out. And that seems to happen with like, a lot of things, but that's just like how life is. And then you just kind of like go back to the drawing board. So yeah, so originally I was supposed to graduate like May of 2020, and then that got pushed out to like the fall. And like one of the things is like I really wanted to get that done before trying to go for a kid, because I know like if you're more stressed out, then there could be more like complications or like high blood pressure and whatnot. And I just really wanted to kind of get some of these things done so that way I could just focus on family. So yeah, so that was the first thing that pretty much happened with the beginning of that year. And then next thing I know, when March rolls around, the COVID mission happened. So then I ended up being gone for like months. So it was just like a really crazy year, and there's a lot of stuff going on with John also that we're probably doing like a separate video. So it kind of made him feel like a little bit like not quite ready. But then by the end of the year, we started feeling like, a lot more importance towards family. And like we kind of pushed out that like, okay, well, at least if we're not going to have a kid like in 2020, then maybe we can at least start trying in the year 2020. So anniversary rolls around, ends up I'm like still on the mission. And I just not like was not having like a lot of time at home. And it was just like a really stressful time for like everyone, of course, because it's just like the way everything went down with the pandemic, and just like the world has just been insane. So then like, the months roll around, and then Thanksgiving comes around. So we had just like a tiny little thing with like just a couple siblings and ourselves just at home, not like the normal big Thanksgiving or anything like that. And then I'll never forget like November 30th, I think it was like a Monday or something. The night of, all of a sudden I started having like really bad stomach pain when I was sleeping. So it was unusual. I don't think I've had, it's not like the pain was the worst I've ever had, but just a middle pain like for hours in like my sleep. I don't know if that like happened to me before. So I woke up, and then I was not feeling well. So I thought, okay, I don't know, maybe it's like food poisoning or something. Like maybe I just didn't eat something right or whatever, and from like the leftovers or something. So then I called out. Actually, I tried to I think that day I called out. The next day I tried to drive in because I thought I was feeling a little bit better. And then I ended up feeling like so sick, like I had to pull over. And then I ended up going right back. And then John took me to the urgent care, and we thought, oh my gosh, like, maybe I have COVID or something like that. And up until that point, I had not had it. So we go to the urgent care, and they're like, yeah, it seems like you probably have it. So we'll test you for it, and then just, go home, quarantine. So I did that. So the results came back, and then they were negative. And I thought, like, how could that be? Like, I'm so sick, like, it's gotta be it. And they said, okay, well, if it's not that, then it's probably the flu. So, which the flu was going on. I had my flu vaccination, but they said it only covers 4 strands. So we thought, okay, it could be one of the other strains. So like probably Wednesday, I was Wednesday, Thursday, I was like so sick, I could barely get out of bed. I felt so terrible. So I was like, okay, like maybe it is a flu or something. So good like week to like 10 days. And they said, once your symptoms are gone, you can go back to work. And so I just kept having, after that, like once I was able to get out of bed and all that, but I still kept having a lot of stomach pain, fatigue, dizziness, headaches every single day. And so I'm like, okay, what is going on? So that was going on for probably like a couple good weeks. And so then finally I was like, okay, like, is there something else that could be going on? Was it like a false negative? Like, what's happening? I went to my doctor and we did like blood work. And then I told him about like the stomach pain I was having. So he said, all right, we're going to go set you up with an ultrasound. And I'm trying to think what else he said to do. I think those were like the two main no, that's right. So he did the blood work, and then with that he did the COVID test, because there was like a COVID blood test or whatever, and then also the ultrasound. I let him know. So like around that time, by this time it was like, I think December. And so, we were thinking, okay, whatever it is, I'm just going to get through it, because I was feeling better than I was the first couple weeks. So I figured it was just probably like the end of the flu. It was just like not ending or something. Maybe it was just going to be like a little bit longer or something. And we were figuring that, we were going to get better. And I started taking the prenatal vitamins, and then I started making the appointments for meeting up with the different doctors to get checkups. That way I can make sure like it would be good to start going for a kid. And so like I scheduled for like my OBGYN, I scheduled for like the regular doctor. So like I went to go check with him because of these symptoms I was having, but then also I wanted to have like just a general checkup to say like, I figured he'd say, okay, like this is what's going on, but you're almost over it, and then, you'll be good with everything else. And I'm trying to think if there's anything, and then just like, the dental checkups and all that stuff, because that's also important when you're trying to think about conceiving. So yeah, so I go to him, and so I end up going for my follow-up, and then we go over the results. And so for like the blood work, I think they did like the blood, urine test and all that, there were a couple things off. So he said, like these are a couple things you need to work on, these things, not like a huge deal or anything. But I said, no, okay, like not a big deal. The COVID test was negative. So I was like, okay, really surprised by that. He was surprised by that too. So then, I also figured that like most of everything would come back negative. I wouldn't have any answer, and it would just go away and I would feel better. And so then the ultrasound results had also come in. And so he said, I know, he said basically like with the ultrasound, so, this is good, this is good, this is good, but they've found something wrong with your liver. And so I was so confused, because I was like, I barely drink alcohol. Like, why? How could there be something wrong with my liver? And he said, also, I know you wanted to try to start a family, but I think you should really hold off until we get this sorted out. And it kind of took like everything in that moment for me to just like not start crying. And I could just feel like all the blood just kind of like rushing to my head, and it felt like the walls are just kind of like closing in.